Captain's Log, Stardate 47330.4. We have begun surveying the dome. We found that the forest has been infested with some tree-boring pest. Moving closer to the center of the dome, we encountered organic, plant-like humanoids emerging from large seed pods that seemed to be tending the forest. We've coined them gardeners. Taking some additional scans, we discovered it was possible to interface with this pod, and Commander Damari volunteered and became what the forest itself referred to as an interface. The interface asked us to travel further to the center of the forest, and nearing the center, the away team and I encountered a shield-like energy field that, when passed through, revealed the presence of large insectoid creatures, which the plant-like humanoids attacked viciously. The last thing we heard over the Universal Translator was a broken voice crying for help. Counselor Drell is transported back to the Avalon to assist the science team in translating the alien pheromones, see if we can crack any codes. And now it's just me and the remainder of the crew, with my chief engineer partially infested with a plant-like ego. Well...
Excuse me. Yeah.
Logan to Avalon.
Go ahead, sir.
Confirm the counselor has arrived safely.
The counselor has arrived safely.
Thank you. Logan out. All right. Well, here we go.
So
what do we
again,
think?
So again, you find yourself near the energy field that seems to be protecting the core of the forest. The latest bout of attacks on these insect creatures just wound down. What would you like to do?
Quick question, GM.
Yes.
Knowing that came over the Universal Translator, the help me, did I pick up the same sense from my connection to the forest that it also said help me at the same moment?
No, it was...
I'm asking if it came from there or not, essentially.
It came from a completely separate source. It was not... It's not attempting to communicate through the pheromones or anything like that.
Got it.
It's directly... It's some language that the Universal Translator was able to decode. Either it just decoded it, or... Because the Universal Translator will start taking in data once it starts hearing things, and it might not immediately trigger. But yeah.
And physically speaking, what actually emitted the sound?
I mean, it's hard for you to tell.
Okay.
Just because, in the case of the Universal Translator, oh gosh, I used to know this. Universal Translator, I think, is directly connected to your brain. So it takes what you see someone saying and basically makes your brain see it as a language you can comprehend.
Gotcha.
You know it came from the vicinity of where the gardeners were attacking.
Got it. All right. Ensign, how's the chief doing?
So I'm still holding his hand, I guess, from before. Okay. He seems okay. Like, healthy, at least. Responsive.
That's good. Damari, you in there?
Affirmative, Captain. Still here. Trying to sort through the information. It's a bit of sensory overload. It's eons of information. Eons.
I understand. Well, take it easy, Damari. Number one. We've clearly encountered a sentient race, and they very directly asked for our help. And I intend to devote every resource aboard the Avalon to do that. But I'm not sure where to start. We're not exterminators.
Commander, the help me that came through the translators, I don't believe it's from the forest.
I was about to say that. I wonder if it's actually a bug. The bugs.
The bugs. The counselor said she experienced 2 different consciousness, if I recall correctly. One the forest, and one this mystery conscience that's asked us for help.
I believe that's what she said, sir.
Specifically, she said a dreamer hibernating, and one desperate, and one that was desperate.
There were images of two beings.
Humanoid, you said?
Potentially, yes, but that could just be my mind reframing the information into something I can understand.
I understand. Can you understand me now?
Who are you attempting? Are you attempting to...
I'm just saying that loudly for whoever might be able to hear.
Yes. Let me see here. Sorry, just 1 second.
We mean you no harm, and quite the opposite. We'd like to help you if we can, but we'll need to bridge this communication gap first. We seek to understand, to be understood.
You don't hear anything at the moment, but as I originally described, the insects only seem to be really appearing inside that that field that's protecting the center of the forest.
How large is this sphere that we're in the center of the forest?
The central part?
Yeah, the sort of shield.
So the dome itself is 10 kilometers.
The whole dome. The whole dome is.
The part that is being shielded is probably, I don't know, maybe 2 kilometers in diameter. So it's a pretty large section of forest.
And the plant life inside is healthy?
Completely healthy, untouched.
And as soon as it gets outside the shield, it's not.
Yeah, that's where you see the boreholes and some large sections of dead trees.
And have we yet reached the actual center of the dome, or have we just crossed the threshold of the shield?
No, you are just... I believe you guys were actually just outside the shield.
Yeah, okay. All right. Number 1, I think it's prudent that we proceed to the center. We got some indication that was the direction we were intended to travel.
Yes, sir. I do have one question for Talk, though.
I'm here, Commander.
Life forms can our transporters take?
Depends on the life form, Commander.
How about some of those bugs?
Without a doubt, if you can get a lock on them. But potentially they're out of phase. That could be what this shield is. I'm not exactly sure why we can't see them, with the exception of some sort of phase shift. We'd have to focus in on them and then try to transport, but no guarantees. But without a doubt, we could if we could get a lock.
Can we capture one and stick it in something and transport that?
It's entirely possible. I was thinking, sir, just in case that I'm feeling uneasy, sir. What if we were able to transport all the bugs into one of the holding bays?
We don't know how many there are. If our transporters could track potentially millions, this is a 10-kilometer diameter dome, and if they're truly infesting the remainder of what's outside of this internal shielding, that could be far too much. However, I think the idea has merit, and at the very least, we should send some back to the science labs. I think we've got an excellent exobiology lab that could take a look at them, and maybe they can glean some insights.
can do multiple transfers if we need, but just a thought, sir.
I think it's an excellent thought. Let me see what I can do. Logan to Avalon.
Go ahead, sir.
Avalon, we've got a strange insectoid creature here. Seems to be infecting parts of this sphere. We're wondering if you can get a lock and transport some back. They seem to be potentially out of phase. Then they become phased when they're within the shield that we've found ourselves now that I'm sure you're picking up on sensors. Can your transporter penetrate those shields, Avalon?
Sir, I think we can, but it might be difficult.
If I kill him, will it be easier?
Potentially non-violent solution, Commander, Captain. If we each take our phasers, line it at the same time at the lowest possible stun setting, within the penumbra of the phasers, you might be able to get a phase lock.
A bit like the surface tension of water coming from multiple jets. All right, I like it.
Exactly. It should cut down on the frequency. It would have to be exact, but it might be easier to get a lock.
All right. Logan to Avalon.
Go ahead.
Scan for a energy spike and prepare to transport at that location into an immediate quarantine.
Aye, sir. Okay, so first off, that was the greatest thing ever. Second of all,
That's good.
So, since we're just coming up with this, so who all is going to contribute to this this attempt?
I will.
I also will.
I will just attempt to set the phasers, but I think being the user interface, my mental faculties and dexterity is a little tied up.
Okay. All right. So, let's see here. So this is going to be control and security, just because it's using the phasers. I would also let you use control. Talk, since you're setting the phasers, that's going to be control and engineering.
Okay.
And Ensign Sorella, are you going to help try to do this triangulation penumbra energy spike phaser scan?
It's not at all my expertise, but it might help.
Yes, we'll say this is going to be. I'm gonna say all of you are going to be able to contribute to like one difficult task here.
Cool.
So, still rolling 2 for the task roll.
So we're going to elect one person as the leader.
Okay.
So who wants to quote lead this task?
It's control security.
So for anyone shooting a phaser, it's going to be control security.
Mine's kind of high.
I think you should lead it.
Alright.
All right. So, Commander, if you want to spend any of the momentum, you can to add a die, but you're going to roll at least 2.
Mm-hmm.
Control security.
Mm-hmm.
And then talk, control engineering, and everybody else shooting a phaser, control security.
Just a single die for Sierra and I, right?
Single die, yep.
What about complication range?
It's just going to be the normal complication range.
Okay.
I rolled a single die, but I got 2 successes on it. Did I crit that?
Critical hit. That's crit.
Tight.
Okay, all right. Let me count all this up. Yeah, I was going to call this 5, so you guys hit it. So the 3 of you kind of get in this triangular shape, and you all fire your phasers at this low stun setting. And as they all converge, it kind of sets an energy wave that kind of spreads out slowly from the center. And as it expands slowly, you see some of these insects that that I described before appear as the energy wave hits them. And in that moment, the transporter chief on board the Avalon is going to attempt to bring that in. Yeah.
Logan to Avalon.
Go ahead, sir.
Did you get it?
We're still focusing it, sir. It's tight. There's a lot of interference. And if you can see on board, the transport chief, the same Denobulan that beamed you in, he's struggling to pick up the phase